I think we are live now. Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Harshit here from Aussizz Migration. So I'm situated in the Werribee branch of Aussizz. So today we are going to discuss about temporary graduate visa, which is called subclass 485 visa. There are different streams and what are the recent updates in that visa right now. So we'll be moving forward. So before moving forward, these are the services provided by Aussizz Group, as you can see. So we have a range of products which can help you. So it is like we have got PTD tutorials, IELTS tutorials, Get My Policy, which is basically help you to compare your health insurance. We have got CCD tutorials as well. Professional program we can help you with. We have got occupation search, which is called Aussizz Search. So you can take the benefit of this services, okay, by Aussizz Group. So now starting with the 485 visa. So what we'll be discussing in this presentation. So what is a 485 visa? What are different types of 485 visa? What will be the criteria and requirements to be eligible and for the grant of the 485 visa? Then we'll be also studying different kinds of pathways for the visa, which is like second post-study work visa, replacement visa, and what are the new updates in that visa from 1st of July 2022. And even there was an update from 1st of July 2023. So we'll be discussing about that pathways as well. So like what is a 485 visa or a temporary graduate visa? So people have been knowing this visa as a TR visa, which is a temporary resident visa. So it is famous by that name, TR visa. So what 485 visa allows you, that allows an international students who are recently graduated from Australian institution, okay, to stay here in Australia. So you can live here, work here and study temporarily in Australia. So this visa can be ranging from 2 years to 6 years, depending on which stream do you fall in. So basically this is a pathway to PR. So let's say if you have a 485 visa, you will have full work rights. So this is the first time a student can get the full work rights after studying. So before it was 20 hours per week. Now they have done 24 hours per week or 48 hours per fortnight. But on TR visa, you can work unlimited, you can study unlimited. Okay. And let's say you can also try and meet your requirements for PR pathway. Let's say you can do your PT score, you can do NATI, you can get an employment in your nominated occupation in which you have studied over here to create a pathway for PR. So you can get enough time during this visa to create a pathway for PR. So this is a beneficial visa as you can work unlimited here on this visa. So what are the types of 485 visa? So first is graduate work stream and second is a post study work stream. So in these streams, there are also different pathways. So we'll be discussing that. So first we'll be discussing the basic criteria and requirements, which will be in both the streams for graduate work stream and the post-study work stream. So for this to be eligible for this visa, your age must be under 50 years. That's the basic requirement. Okay, if you're over 50 years, you cannot apply for this visa. Most of the students will be below this age only, will be applying for this visa. You must be a holder of an eligible student visa or a bridging visa A, bridging visa B, or any substantive visa. So most of the people currently, as COVID visa was introduced, they must be holding a 408 COVID visa. So they can apply for this 485 visa if you are holding a COVID visa as well. So it's fine. If you are holding any substantive visa, you can lose this visa. But keep in mind that your last student visa, you must have held within last 6 months. So the last visa you were held, if it's not within 6 months, okay, then you are not eligible to apply for 485 visa. So that date is counted from your completion date. So if you have finished study over here on a student visa, then you might get a completion letter from your university. So from that completion date, okay, it is a requirement. Okay, and if your student visa is expiring, let's say on 30th of June or something, okay, so you have to keep in mind that you have to lodge the 485 visa before December. You must have met the Australian study requirement. That is a requirement. So if you are a graduate of Australia and if you meet an Australian study requirement, which is basically 92 weeks of minimum study. Okay, so CRICOS related study you are required. Without CRICOS related study, you are not eligible. And you must have stayed in Australia for 16 calendar months while you are studying in Australia. So some of the bachelor's degree, the minimum weeks you will be studying is 156 weeks, and for masters it is 104 weeks. So if you have studied bachelor's or masters, you mostly meet these requirements. And if you are studying any trade courses like certificate 3, certificate 4 and diploma, okay, so you can combine the courses and meet the requirement of 92 weeks. So you can find these weeks on your COE, or maybe in your CRICOS. You can go on the CRICOS website and see that are you meeting that 92 weeks of requirement or not. The next requirement is that you must have met the health requirement. So currently there is no health requirement if you are onshore. So you are not required to do medicals if you are in Australia. But let's say if you are offshore, or you are applying from offshore or adding your spouse or dependents from offshore, then they have to undergo medical. So basically they have to do a medical examination and an X-ray in order to meet this requirement. You should meet the character requirement, which is the next requirement. This is the most important requirement. So the character requirement is an Australian federal police check from Australia. So you have to provide this Australian federal police check at least one day before. So you must have applied for this. It is not required that you should provide this one day before. So before lodging the application, at least one day before, you should have applied for the AFP Australian federal police check and then lodge the visa on the next day. And if you have not received your AFP, you can submit it later as well. That's completely fine. But this requirement you should keep in mind, or you should meet a migration agent so they can help you with this one. And let's say if someone is applying from offshore, or maybe they are applying for a dependent, they have to provide a police clearance certificate from their home country to meet this requirement of character. The another requirement is OVHC health insurance requirement. So for health insurance, as we know that most of the students have got OHC, which is Overseas Student Health cover, but OVHC is Overseas Visitor Health cover. So in this one, this is different from the student health cover. So you need to make an arrangement that you have bought this health insurance. Let's say, for example, if your visa is expiring on 15th of March, and you have bought an student health cover until that date, but you are applying a visa before that date, then you should start your overseas health cover, which is required for 485 from 16th of March. So that is fine as long as you have arranged your health insurance. And if someone is applying from offshore or adding the partner or spouse or dependents from offshore, then let's say they are coming on some other dates, let's say they are coming in June, then they should get their overseas health cover started from June only when they first arrive in Australia. So you have to make an arrangement, you have to buy the health insurance before, but you can start it from the date when they will come here in Australia. So that will be a fine. The next requirement is the English requirement. This is the most important requirement. Immigration for 485 visa accepts PT, IELTS, and other English stats. So in IELTS, if you have got 6 band overall and 5 bands in each module of IELTS, then you are eligible for this requirement. So if you, let's say most people are giving PTE right now. So for PTE, I'll tell you that overall score is 50. And if you score 36 in each bands, then you will meet this requirement. Next requirement. So these are the all requirements. In addition to this, you can also include your family members. So due to COVID conditions right now, before it was not possible, but now you can include directly your family members from offshore. So family members are your immediate family members, which are your spouse and child only. You cannot add your parents in this application. So if you are applying a visa onshore and if they are offshore, you can directly add them in the application. They are not required to be here. And let's say if you want to add them later on as well, let's say if you want visa to be granted and you don't want to call them right now, or maybe you are not married, then you can also apply for a separate visa for them as well, which is called a 485 subsequent entrant visa. Now we'll go for the first stream, which is 485 temporary graduate visa, which is graduate work stream. So in this stream, you are eligible if you have completed any certificate course, which is certificate 3 or higher level, certificate 3, 4. You can go to diploma, bachelor's, master's. Anyone is available to apply in this one. The duration for this visa is 2 years. So before it was 18 months in this visa, but now they have increased the visa period to 2 years. So if for an example, someone has done certificate 3 in commercial cookery, certificate 4 in commercial cookery and diploma in hospitality management, then they can combine this course and apply for this graduate workstream visa, because they will be meeting a 92 weeks of CRICO studies course requirement. So if someone has done a bachelor's as well and a master's as well, they can also meet this requirement. But we'll come back later that if you've done bachelor's or master's, you can also apply for another category as well. So in this category, in this stream, basically, you need to nominate one occupation on the medium to long-term skill list. So what is a medium to long-term skill list? That in this list, let's say chef comes under that list, IT occupations come under that list, engineers occupations come under that list. So department has announced a list. So if you get a skill assessment and if you nominate an occupation in that skill list, you will be eligible to apply for this visa. So that is a requirement for this visa. You cannot nominate any other occupation. Let's say if you have studied let's say take the example of cookery only. So certificate 3 in commercial cookery, certificate 4 in commercial cookery, and diploma in hospitality management, then you should nominate your occupation as a chef only, because it's in MLT SSL scale list and the cook is not in the list. So you should nominate as a chef, or otherwise your visa will be refused. And you also require a provisional skill assessment. So from this has like they have currently like from 1st of July 2023, currently they have started this thing. Okay, before it was there as well, but currently again they have started. So due to COVID, they were not asking for the provisional skill assessment, but from 1st of July 2023, immigration is asking, Department of Home Affairs is asking for a provisional skill assessment in your nominated occupation. So you need to apply for provisional skill assessment through a authority mentioned on their website. So on the list also it's mentioned, let's say for cookery, it is Trade Recognition Australia. So if you submit your application on the day you are going to submit your visa application for 485, then it is fine. You can provide a payment receipt and you can make the application. It is not required that you require the provisional skill assessment, but in order to get the grant, you require a positive skill assessment to be done. Otherwise, the visa won't be granted. So you have to make sure of this requirement because before 1st of July 2023, there was not a requirement like this. It was before a couple of years, but people who have been in that time, so they have to keep in mind that they do apply for a provisional skill assessment before lodging this visa application. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is post-study workstream. So this visa gives you like 2 to 6 years of so 2 to 6 years of visa grant, okay, on in post-study workstream. So basically someone has done bachelor's or master's degree or doctorate degree, they are eligible for this visa. Unlike graduate workstream, in graduate workstream, if you have studied certificate 3 or 4 or diploma, okay, then you will be eligible. But in this one, the minimum requirement is that you must have studied a bachelor's or higher degree. So the duration of this visa depends on what you have studied. So if you have studied like bachelor's degree, you can get a visa for 2 to 4 years. If you have studied like master's degree by research or coursework, okay, then you can get a visa for 3 to 5 years. If you have studied like PhD or doctorate degree, you can get a visa for 4 to 6 years. And if you are a Hong Kong or a British national overseas passport holder, then you can get a visa for 5 years in this one. So these are basically the prices. This has been recently increased. So if you are applying as a single applicant, your price will be 1,895 for 485 visa if you are applying in any of the streams. If you have a dependent applicant which is 18 plus, basically your spouse, then additional charges are 950, and if you have a child, then it's 475. So it has recently increased around 10%. Previously it was something around 1,700, and these are the new prices. And on top of these charges, you might incur a surcharge. So keep in mind while lodging this application. So as we have discussed already the two streams, so this stream, which is second post-study work stream, it is an extension stream of the post-study work stream. So those applicants who have been living and studied in a regional area, designated regional areas during their student visa, they will be eligible for this stream. So this stream can give you an extension of 485 visa, which is a second visa, for 1 or 2 years, depending on where you have studied. So they have divided the designated regional areas into two streams generally, which is first it is, I'll tell you, cities and major regional centers. Okay, so what comes in cities and major regional centers like Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Canberra, Newcastle, Geelong, and Hobart, etc. They come under these cities and major regional centers. So those are closer to the cities, and they are major regional centers, as the name suggests. And the other regional areas, okay, are they are considered as a regional centers and other regional areas. So the postcode away from those main cities, they will be other regional areas. So you can see on their website, they have mentioned the postcodes and everything, that which are the major regional cities, cities and major regional centers, and which are other regionals on their website. So as you can see, for New South Wales, Victoria, there are so many regional areas available. So there are also universities and everything available in those regional areas. So if someone has studied in this regional area, they can apply for an extension. Most probably, if you have studied in cities and major regional centers, then you might get an extension of 1 year. And if you have studied in regional centers and other regional areas, then you may be eligible for a 2 year of extension on your current 485 visa. But the requirement in this visa, like unlike the 485 visa we normally apply, you can apply that visa from anywhere. But for this visa, you must be on a 485 visa in order to apply, and you must be in Australia at the time of application. You can basically include your family members as well. Let's say if you have got your partner overseas, okay, and they are not over here, you can include them in this application. And unlike the first post-study workstream visa, you don't require any English test in this one because you have already met the requirement. Now we'll have a look, okay, that how you can get 1 or 2 years of extension. So this is a table of that. So let's say if someone has studied in major cities like Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, okay, then they will not be eligible for this visa. But if someone has, let's say, studied in designated city or major regional centers, which is the category 2, okay, then they can be eligible. But if they on that 485 visa period, if they are in living and working in city which is Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, then they will not be eligible for a second visa. So you must be living and working in designated regional area only during that 485 visa once you are granted to be eligible for 1 or 2 years of extra time. So let's go on the third one. So let's say if someone has lived in designated city or major regional center, and they again stay there for 2 years during that first 485 visa, and they apply for the second 485 visa, then they can get an extension of 1 year. The same way, if they have studied in a designated city or major regional centers and they live in any other regional areas, which is more regional than the designated city or major regional center, then they will be eligible for 1 year. So if the same thing happens, that if you have studied in a regional centers or the other regional areas which is far from, let's say someone has studied in Ballarat, um, then it will come in the category 3, which is regional center or the other regional area. And if you have for that 2 years of period, if you have worked in Geelong, then you will get 1 year of visa. But in that 2 years of period, if you have lived, worked or studied or anything in that Ballarat area only, which is a regional center or other regional areas, which is the last category, then you can get a 2 years of extra visa. So it depends on where you first study when you come here on a student visa, and then on the first 485 visa, when you move, you can get up to 1 to 2 years of extra 485 visa. So I hope everyone understood this table. This you can find on the website as well. It's quite easy to understand. So we'll moving on to the next one. So these are the fees for the second post-study workstream visa. So it is bit reduced from the first one. So it's 745 for the single applicant. If you add your spouse, it's 375, and if you add a child, it's 190. Keep in mind again, 1.4% something surcharge will be added on this application as well if you make a payment by card. So we have seen this regional areas. So basically these regional areas, they are promoting because, let's say, immigration wants that you study in the regional areas and you also try and build their community. So these regional areas also becomes like a city, because the population is quite low over there. So thus, for the betterment of this regional area, they are trying to promote the students that they study in this regional area, and you can get an extended 485 visa on that basis. Now this one is a 485 replacement visa. Okay, so this is eligible to both the streams, which is graduate work stream and the post-study work stream as well. So this came last year in 1st July 2022. So basically this visa is for those applicants who have been affected by the COVID-19 travel restrictions, like from February last year when it happened, because travel restrictions they have put on in 2020. So people who were not able to travel or have stayed in their home country for a longer time and lost their 485 visa time period, then they can apply for this visa. So you can make the application for this visa like before 1st of Jan 2027. So 31st of December 2026 is the last date to make the application. To be eligible to this visa, you must have hold 485 visa. So currently you can hold a 485 visa, or previously you must have held a 485 visa as a primary applicant, not a secondary applicant. And currently you can be holding any other visa. Let's say you came from overseas and you're currently in Australia on any other visa, maybe a visitor visa or any other visa. And if you are holding a bridging visa A or B, then also you are eligible to apply for this visa as well. So this visa basically, if applicant is eligible, if they have held a 485 visa which was granted before 15th of December 2021, and it was in effect after or on 1st of Feb 2020. So if someone has granted a visa which was on 1st of January 2021, then they will be eligible for this visa. And if they have lost their time on their 485 visa due to COVID-19 restrictions, so if they have been offshore from 1st of Feb 2020 and 14 December 2021, then they can be eligible for this visa. Even if you have stayed 1 day offshore during that period, then also it's eligible. And if, let's say, at that time on your original 485 visa, if you are not added your partner or your child, and now on the replacement visa, if you want to add your spouse and children, then yes, you can add them on this 485 visa. So you can be anywhere during making this application. As you can see, you can be in or outside Australia at the time of application or at the time of grant. So people who are still trying to apply for this visa, who have lost their time during COVID travel, then they can apply for this visa. So I'll tell you later on that how much time you can get on this visa as per your original 485 visa. So before discussing that, we can discuss another visa. So these are basically the fees for the replacement visa. These are the same as the 485 visa, which we discussed previously. So recently, government has announced, like on 1st of July 2023, like they have announced on 30th of June, but on 1st of July, it has came into effect that they have announced a list of occupations that if you have studied like bachelor's, master's, or PhD, um, in a field which is mentioned on the list, and you will get in 2 years of extension on your post-study work stream visa. This is only eligible for the post-study work stream visa. So if you have a list on that occupation, if you eligible applicants can apply for that extension. So let's say if I say someone has done bachelor's of IT, then they might be eligible for a 2-year extension. So previously bachelor's was only 2 years. Now they can go for 4 years, to 2 plus 2, 4 years. If master's was for 3 years, then they can apply for another 2 years, which will be 5 years. And for PhD, it will be 6 years. So 4 plus 2, which will be 6 years. So so in that list, actually they have mentioned the CRICOS code, the name of your qualification, and also the university. So you can easily check as per your CRICOS code, so which can be easily find on the CRICOS website, that you are eligible for that, your qualification eligible or not for the extension or not for 485 visa. So this is, as I said previously, it is only available for post-study work stream only. So let's say this changes a few things. Let's say previously people were getting 3 years of visa. So now if someone has not applied for 485 visa and now they apply for this visa, they might directly get a 5-year visa. So now we'll discuss that what if someone has applied for a 485 replacement visa. So how they will be granted as per the new list they have announced. So if someone has applied for the graduate work stream visa and they previously hold a visa in graduate work stream, then they will get a 2 years of replacement visa only. So that is straightforward, because the extension eligible list extension is not available for graduate work stream, but replacement stream graduate work stream is available for the replacement stream. So in post-study work stream, let's say if someone has lost the time and they apply for they have done bachelor's degree, but their occupation or their course is not on the list, then you will get only 2 years of visa in the replacement stream. But let's say if someone has got the occupation or the course on the eligible list, then they will get a 4 years of visa as per the new requirements. So same goes for masters. Let's say someone has a master's degree, so if it's not on the list, then it will be 3 years. If it's on the list, eligible list, it will be 5 years. And for doctoral degree, PhD, it's 6 years. And for Hong Kong and British national overseas, the replacement visa is still the same. It's 5 years as 485 visa only. So I hope this makes sense. If we merge like 485 replacement visa and what are the new requirements for the eligible skill list, so you can know that some of your questions will be answered with this table. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can pop into here and we'll answer the questions. Just let me check the questions if we are already here. Okay. So we'll take some questions now. Okay, so I got a question from Adil Shahdad. Okay, that when the WA next round for 491, Adil, actually Western Australia has announced, they were told, like not announced, but they were told that there will be an invitation announced soon. But most probably in this financial year, this month, sorry, we can expect an invitation around from Western Australia for 491. So most of the states are taking it slow right now because they have not announced that how many number of seats they will be getting for this financial year. But mostly, as per we can see the last year's numbers and this year's numbers, it will be almost the same, the seats. So we can expect in round so. So keep an eye on the updates and everything on our website. We have got another question from Lorena. Hello, I did marketing bachelor's and I got my 485 last November for 2 years. Can I extend it for 2 more years with the new rule of change? So actually we have to check that. I think marketing degrees are not available. So mostly, Lorena, engineers, IT occupations, health occupations, and other nursing occupations, they are eligible for the extension, but we still have to check. So I suggest you to contact our team. Okay, so they can help you, and according to the criteria, they can check. You can also check on the eligible list that it is available or not. But I don't think so. It will be eligible for you, but you can take advantage of any other visa which is currently available. Okay, let's say 408 visa or something if your visa is expiring. So moving on to the next question, Mayank Sharma is asking, with 75 points in class 189, 90 points in class 491 as offshore mechanical engineering, prospects are better as engineering management or mechanical engineer? Mayank Sharma, I suggest that as a mechanical engineer, there are high chances. If you have experience claimed in your EOI, then I suggest that wait for state nominations to open, and I suggest that apply for the state nomination for 49, because your chances for 491 more. For 189, the invitation round was coming at around 80 points or something for mechanical engineers. So have a look at it. Okay, that if you have got points and everything, because your age is also high, so I don't think so you can score more points because you are losing most of the points on this. So I suggest a try for 491, and as soon as you get the 491 you can come here, because it will be easy for you to apply for 191 after that. Okay, Lorena, I'm in Adelaide. I hope I have answered your question. Ankit Saini is asking, can I submit Form 26A to prove overseas experience for SC 189, 190, 491 experience assessed by Engineers Australia? So if Ankit, I think you are asking that for immigration purposes or for the skill assessment. So for the immigration purposes, yes, for Form 26A so will be considered as an tax document. So it will be fine. So you can also, along with that, you can also submit your Form 16 as well. You can submit your pay slips, bank statement, or reference letter from your employer, an employment contract if you have got. Also, you can submit your provident fund or any other documents like that. If you have got, you can submit. So as much as documents, it will be easy for you to assess experience. Mirza Beg is asking, hello, sir. Taimur here from Pakistan. I'm interested to apply for 491, 189, or 190. I have 6 years of experience as an educational consultant. I have to check Mirza, because because I don't have your qualification, that what you studied over here. So we have to check. I suggest that pass on your resume to one of our team, and they can help you that how we can link your experience with your qualification. And if you have studied something, let's say in engineering or IT, then you don't even require an experience to get a skill assessment. Okay, I think we have got all the questions. Waiting for more questions. I hope that is it for today. If you have any questions, like even after this live session, if you see your recording, okay, then I'll suggest that you can post your questions on the comments as well. And we are happy to answer all your questions. You can always reach us out. Okay, so we have got so many offices around Australia. So email us, come to the office, okay, and ask your question. Feel free to ask. Most of our offices provide free consultation for the first consultation. So I suggest come through, meet us, and have a word so we can clear all your doubts. We have got very skilled register migration agents in our team. So I hope we'll be ending this session now, and see ya guys. Have a good day.